You know what? People underestimate how dangerous boxing really is. And when you're talking about someone like Daniel Dubious, all it takes is one clean punch, and boom, night's over. That's the reality of this sport. It's not a game. Not at this level. But that's exactly why Oleksandr Usyk is so respected. He knows the risk, yet he keeps stepping into the fire. And here's the thing, this isn't Floyd Mayweather, fighting at welterweight and walking around at 155 pounds. No disrespect to Floyd, but we're talking about Usyk, who's out there challenging giants. He's either the #1 or #2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, depending on where you rank Tyson Fury. And instead of ducking guys, Usyk's looking at the top of the pile and saying, "Who's next? I'll fight him." That's the kind of mentality we're dealing with. In a recent interview, Usyk took a subtle shot at Mayweather, teasing that even now, this late in his legs are still stronger than Floyd's. It wasn't just a joke. It was a flex. A reminder that while Mayweather made his legacy on precision and defense, Usyk built his on grit, movement, and facing the biggest threats head-on. "Don't be afraid," Usyk laughed during the live show, even poking fun at football legend Thierry Henry. "Terry, my legs are better than yours." It was classic Usyk, relaxed, funny, but with that quiet confidence that's made him such a force in the sport. As he gets closer to the end of his career, there's a growing buzz in the boxing world. The whispers are getting louder. Usyk's only got 2 fights left before he calls it quits. And when someone like Usyk starts talking retirement, the entire sport sits up. Fans are watching. Fighters are watching. Promoters are on standby. During a recent sit-down, Usyk confirmed it. He's got 2 more fights in him. That's it. And here's the crazy part. Despite everything he's achieved, he's never defended his title on Ukrainian soil. That's still on his bucket list. But with the heartbreaking war continuing back home, that dream remains just that, for now. "It's a disgrace what's happening," one commentator said, reflecting on the conflict. But maybe one day, when peace returns, Usyk will get that homecoming he deserves. That would be special. But before the fairy tale ending, there's more work to be done. And now, the WBO has stepped in, officially ordering Usyk to defend his undisputed heavyweight crown against interim champ Joseph Parker. The clock's ticking. Both camps have 30 days to reach a deal, or the fight goes to purse bids. Parker, for his part, is no slouch. He's fresh off big wins over Deontay Wilder and Martin Bakol. That momentum has fans and experts thinking he might be the perfect final test for Usyk. Even legends like Lennox Lewis are backing the matchup. Still, there's a bit of skepticism floating around. One boxing insider said, "Look, I wouldn't be surprised if Parker ends up fighting for the WBO belt, but not against Usyk. Maybe against the next in line." And that raises the question, what does Parker really want? A shot at a vacant title? Or a crack at the man himself? If it's about legacy, then you want Usyk. That's the name that matters. And if Parker really wanted to make a statement, he could have grabbed the mic, called Usyk out, told the world he's been ducked. Even if it wasn't true, it would have stirred the pot, fired up the fans. But he didn't go that route. Meanwhile, another name is quietly rising, Jai Opetaia. A fierce competitor with eyes on heavyweight glory, Opetaia recently expressed deep admiration for Usyk. "He's a legend," Opetaia said. "I've looked up to him for years. I was 16 when I qualified for the Olympics. I've always felt I was just a step behind. But now it's my time." This is the kind of respect Usyk commands. Not just from fans, but from fighters who've grown up watching him. Facing Usyk isn't just a fight, it's a rite of passage. Usyk's career has been nothing short of remarkable. Unlike many top names who stick to familiar weight classes, he jumped to heavyweight and walked straight into danger. No cherry-picking. No easy matchups. Just pure competition. That's what made his back-to-back wins over Tyson Fury so shocking. Fury, the undefeated giant, was seen as untouchable. And Usyk handled him. Twice. This isn't like watching Mayweather finesse his way through 147-pound opponents. Usyk's often giving up 30, sometimes 40 pounds. But he finds a way. That's why fans are hoping he doesn't stick around too long. One boxing analyst put it bluntly, if Usyk keeps going 4-5 more fights, he might eventually lose. But if he walks away now, he leaves the sport on top, untouched. Usyk's greatness isn't just about wins. It's about how he wins. He takes risks. He walks into hostile arenas, fights bigger men, and breaks them down with skill and strategy. His footwork, his angles, his ability to read the fight, he's made believers out of skeptics. That's why some even compare him to Evander Holyfield. And while it may have sounded like a stretch years ago, it's not anymore. In fact, some argue Usyk came through an even tougher cruiserweight era than Holyfield did. He dominated the World Boxing Super Series, beat every top name, and cleaned out the division before moving up. That's no easy feat. Of course, when you talk about all-time greats, Floyd Mayweather's name always enters the conversation. The man went undefeated, fought across multiple weight classes, and built a legacy on technical perfection. He made boxing look effortless. But Usyk's a different animal. Where Floyd dodged punishment with slick defense, Usyk embraces the chaos. He wades into war and comes out the other side smiling. If these two ever shared a ring, even in an exhibition, it wouldn't be just a clash of styles. It'd be a meeting of two distinct eras, two different philosophies. And let's be honest, Floyd had his critics. One fan joked, "Floyd's the worst fighter ever." Then quickly walked that back. "Nah, I'm trolling. He was incredible. We won't see another like him for a long time." That's the thing about Mayweather. You could love him or hate him, but you couldn't ignore him. He made a habit of fighting his terms. Did he always take on the best? Not exactly. Did he fight everyone at their peak? Probably not. But did he dominate? Absolutely. Sitting on the ropes, dodging shots from guys like Canelo, Pacquiao, Cotto, that's greatness. As much as people booed him back then, a lot of folks are starting to miss him now. But what makes Usyk special is that he's written his story in blood and sweat. No shortcuts. When he fought Daniel Dubois, people thought maybe, just maybe, he was getting old. That maybe Dubois, with his raw power, could land the shot that changed everything. But Usyk showed up with a masterclass. His movement, his rhythm, his jab, it all clicked. He kept Dubois off balance, kept him doubting himself. And that's the secret. When Dubois starts to doubt, he doesn't bend, he breaks. And sure enough, he broke. He took the count, got up at 10, and casually walked right past Usyk, who was already celebrating. It was almost surreal. Like Dubois didn't realize the fight was over. Like he'd already accepted defeat long before the final bell. One analyst said it best. You could see the moment his spirit left him. Not physically, but as a fighter he was done.